Getting some great reaction from the full episodes being on YouTube, just being able to watch John Shannon, to the John Shannon ISOCam on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon. We've got Ray Ferraro coming up.
You mean my look of disbelief all the time?
Yeah.
How can you say that?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Like, how do you come to that opinion?
Yeah.
And it's
Seriously.
always to me. It's never to the guest. It's always to me.
Well, usually the guests and I agree. And then you try just to be the devil's advocate,
No, I fully stand by my William Nylander take with the.
Boy, you got barbecued for it too. I'll tell you what.
How?
There's some. I saw some comments on YouTube. What's Millard smoking?
Come on.
If that's his real name. Well, his new nickname, of course, is Gyprock. Gyprock Millard.
Gyprock. I also got a couple of comments
for the record. You spell Gyprock, Gyp, Rock. Some people, because they had never heard of it before, didn't know how to spell Gyprock.
There's a Gyprock mining operation about a 30-minute bike ride from where I am right now.
And by the way, awesome. Just explain to everybody what Gyprock is.
Drywall.
That's right.
Drywall. I also didn't know what a skull crusher was.
Gyprock in the 50s. Gyprock in the 50s. There's good. Drywall in the 50s was Gyprock.
May have used the skull crusher in a form to bring back Gyprock. So I was talking to a couple of people in the last few days, and the consensus is this is the most challenging stretch of the season for the league, both with the schedule. So the players that aren't even going to the Olympics are grinding right now, and the players that are going to the Olympics, it's on their mind. You've got this schedule that's putting you into a fatigue state, and then you don't want to get hurt. And that's a balance for a lot of these players that are at such an elite level.
Well, that leads me to another question. So what happens if you are injured now, still on the Olympic roster, and don't play another NHL regular season game before the Olympics? Should you be allowed to go to the Olympics? And the only reason I bring this up,
if you're healthy, yes.
But in context, you would be, if you elected not to go to the All-Star game in this scenario, you would be suspended for a game after the All-Star game. So, and I know the Olympics are different. I know the Olympics are much more important. I'm just trying to create some logic, because I do believe that there are some players that are ready to play, but are saving themselves to go and play in Italy.
Oh, I don't think anybody's right now not coming back for another week and a half just because of the Olympics. If you can play, you're going to play before the Olympics. Now, if it's 2 games, like if we're the middle of the next week, I could see that, but not at this stage of the calendar, John.
Okay, all right. Well, I see Bo Horvat has come back, so he's going to be. Looks like he's going to be okay, so that's good. But
so who are you thinking? Like who's in your?
I wonder about Victor Hedman. I do wonder about Victor Hedman, and I know. Listen, Victor Hedman has done everything that Tampa has wanted him to do. It's a great relationship. It's a tremendous role that he plays on that hockey club. But if Victor Hedman has not played a game prior to going to the Olympics, is that an issue for the Lightning?
It might be a bigger issue for Sweden. They want him in a groove. They want him to have played a few games.
I would have no problem with Victor Hedman not playing for a month.
Would he not want to play a few games after an extended absence?
I don't know. I don't know Victor, so I'm just.
I would think yes.
But if I'm Tampa ownership saying, well, we're they're still paying Victor a lot of money, and he's going to go to the Olympics before he plays for us. I wonder about that.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue. Victor Hedman's done just enough. Just crossed over that threshold of being able to call his own shots with a couple of Stanley Cups.
Just barely?
Just barely.
Yeah.
Covered the peak on that one.
Yeah,
but players in the back of their minds right now are, and I know this for a fact, they're trying not to get hurt.
And that is not a good thing, because if you
but it's a natural thing,
right? But if you play the game in that with that defensive mindset, there's a good chance you're going to get hurt.
I'm not saying they're going at 40%, but it's in their minds.
Yeah. That it will be a fascinating case study about what happens and how this Olympics is viewed once it's over. And then we'll revisit it again when the south of France comes up in 4 years.
Do you think there's anything they could change? The idea of being injured, that's not going away.
No, well, what they're going to change, and we know this already, Daren, is they're going to change. I mean, here's what they've been forced to do. They've been forced to put 100 games into the schedule with 3 less weeks. That's what they've been forced to do. 100 extra games, 3 less weeks. So next year we're going to see the ramifications of that when we get that a little more time back in the schedule, and the schedule starts in late September. So we buy ourselves those 3 weeks back, and so it will be much more manageable in the long term with a schedule that starts and buys 3 more weeks. But that has been the challenge this year, is that because of the compacted schedule, and to define the compacted schedule, I was told it was 100 games in 3 less weeks, and that's where they had defined it. That's why there have been so many back-to-backs. That's why there's so many 3 and 4s, and that's why some of the travel has been so strange for teams, particularly, in my opinion, teams in the Western Conference, who have had a lot more trips to the East already, even before or basically around the mid point of the regular season.
Okay, you want to know the strangest travel?
Okay. Other than you riding the bike up to the Gyprock factory?
No. Vegas coming out of the break, the Olympic break, plays in LA.
Yeah.
And then continue a 5-game road trip in Washington.
and
with 1 day in between. So the guys are going to come from Italy,
right,
back to Vegas, practice,
right,
go to LA, same time zone, and then all the way back. They're going to be a mess.
Well, and you remember when Ron Hainsey was on with us, and he talked about the biggest mistake they made coming out of 4 Nations was not giving the players a couple of extra days after the tournament ended. Mm-hmm. And he, as the story he told, he was sitting, I think he was in his workout room, and he turned the TV on the Saturday morning, and Saturday at noon, and there was a hockey game. There was a hockey game on after the Thursday championship game. So perhaps they're learning some lessons. Listen. I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be happy when this type of. No, I don't think the schedule is going to get any easier after the 25th of February, though, Daren. I mean, that 6 weeks is going to be a sprint.
Oh no, that's dramatic.
It's crazy. Although I am surprised. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say the 31 days in January, the most games ever in a month.
Yeah. In
the National Hockey League, ever. That's my emphasis. Ever.
I got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and it's what's fascinating to me is that there appears now in the last. A lot of teams have said, we're going to make decisions about whether we're going to sink or swim by the Olympic break. But in the last 5 to 7 days, you can see a great deal of separation between the playoff teams and the non-playoff teams, can't you? You really can.
You go on a slide, and then you got to sit on the slide and go, do I make a decision on this? When if I come out of the break and I go on a roll, I'm right back in it.
Yeah. Well, and I can only imagine the discussions within an organization because, and this is where a manager and his relationship with ownership has to be so important. There will be owners saying, there will be owners saying, we can still make it. We have to make it. You have to do something to get us to the playoffs. And if a manager is being pragmatic and looks at the schedule, and looks at his roster, and looks at everything that's going on, saying, we're not good enough. But if the owner says, you know what, we need playoffs, then the manager's between a rock and a hard place. Truly.
Okay. I've got a couple of teams.
Like for instance, the New York Rangers have the manager and the owner on the same page, which isn't necessarily normal for NHL teams. It's not.
They put up the white flag.
They've raised the white flag. They are they're going to be sellers. They are trying to basically figure out what to do with their unrestricted free agents. We know they're not going to
get that team. I don't understand that group. I can't get my head around how you went from so good to being so average to being bad.
Well, and so let me ask you this: with the Rangers,
so much of the roster, John.
What are their pillars? What are the pillars of their team? They've got a great goaltender, right? When he's healthy.
Yeah. Got a good defenseman in Adam Fox.
And they've also committed long-term to a coach, right? They've committed long-term to a coach. So
made a big trade for JT Miller, so you've got one on each position. But look at the guys that they moved in the last few years.
Oh, I know.
Hey, you don't think chemistry matters in sports?
We know chemistry matters. We know.
It didn't sound like it from you. It didn't sound like you were buying in on it at all.
On chemistry, I love chemistry. I believe in chemistry.
The Bunsen burner.
Tell you what, I had my chemistry set when I was grade 6. It was really good.
Did you have one? Seriously?
Oh, great! It was the first thing that you looked at in the Sears catalog or the Eaton's catalog was, oh, look at that chemistry set. That's so cool.
I went to Consumers Distributed.
My brother would come in and burn all the sulfur.
Yeah,
in the house smell.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, Ray Ferraro's here.
Okay, we'll get to Ray. I got a couple of things I want to run past him, just regarding what's happening in the standings. It's 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon. Stay with us.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
All right, here's Ray Ferraro joining us from the Lower Mainland. Love the hat, Ray. If you're watching on YouTube, this is just a beauty.
It's Olympic time. You got to get behind your country now, right? Like it's kind of. I hope you guys like the Olympics other than the hockey. Like we're an Olympics family, mostly because of Cammie, but I love watching sports that I don't see a lot. I just love it. I get into the stories and stuff.
Well, I become an expert in freestyle moguls.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Nobody knows more than me.
I can tell you the greatest Olympic stuff that I've ever seen. The 1980 hockey game, of course, the U.S., of course, the 2010 gold medal game, and Franz Klammer's gold medal ski run in 1976 that I didn't know anything about it. I have the call in my head. The announcer says at one point, he's all over the course because he's skiing in Austria, last skier, and he ended up winning the gold medal. I just love that stuff. It's really cool.
I view the 1994 Olympic Winter Games in Lillehammer, Norway, as the greatest single sporting event I've ever been at.
Why is that, John?
Atmosphere. And some of the great accomplishments, including Johan Olaf Koss and what he did at speed skating. Yeah. That was also Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan in the soap opera. That was Tom Rennie's hockey club that got all the way to the gold medal game before the Peter Forsberg shootout move. It was just and just an electric time, and the Norwegian people were so great. To me, it was everything that what the Olympics were supposed to be. They were fun, they were competitive, they were friendly.
That
seems to have disappeared.
That seems to have taken a left turn now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I love how small the speed skaters make the oval look when they're out there. And when you get out to an oval, you're like, there's no way I'm getting around that thing. And they're just flying.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We went at Pyeongchang. Chris Cuthbert and I were doing the games. I didn't have much free time, but the short track was next door. That is absolute lunacy. Yes. Watching those, and they're so packed in, and you're like, how does somebody not clip a heel every 3 strides? It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Although I will say that with the hockey tournament set up the way it is, the hockey tournament is going to be take all of my time. Over the period of time of the Olympics, but there'll be something for everybody. That's the great thing about the Olympics. Yeah.
How much do you think?
What we've done as Canadians is we've been pushing sports that we're good at. We're great at the freestyle stuff. We're great at moguls. We're great at that. Yep. We're great at curling. So all these new sports they've added have helped Canada become a little more dominant in the Olympic Winter Games.
Mixed curling. We're just talking about the Olympics being on players' minds. This is a tough time of the year for these guys that are going over, trying to play hard, but not get hurt at the same time.
This is a terrible analogy. I just thought of this when you were talking about it, but I'm going to use it anyway. When you're on a non-playoff team and you're coming into the last 3 or 4 games of the season, the only thing you can think of is, I hope I don't get hurt so I screw up my summer doing rehab. Yeah. It's like this mindset you subconsciously become a little more cautious, which is the wrong way to be, but I think it's just human nature. So I'm looking at these guys, and these games are so critical right now because of the way the standings are, and you're in the midst of the season, but right over the horizon is like the biggest tournament that you've dreamed of playing in. I mean, the Stanley Cup is so different, but because this is a tournament and it's for your country, and I can't see how the guys don't think about it, how they're not thinking about it all the time. And look at the number of guys already that are, the Swedes have been decimated, and, they're hoping to get a few guys back, but guys being, taken out already, Brodin and Carlson, and who knows when the next time they're going to go back is. Sure, it seems like it's 4 years, but what if it's not?
Yeah. So to that vein, what about guys that are playing on teams that have already waved the white flag? Vancouver and the Rangers. I mean, there's a double-edged sword there. Is A, I don't want to get hurt. B, I want to improve my stock. And some of the guys are going to the Olympics anyway.
It's when you're on a team that's out of it, and we've talked about my Atlanta teams a couple of times, but we were out of it months ago. What I'd like to tell these players is, I know it's completely demoralizing. I get it. It sucks. You play your best game and you lose anyway. But it is your job. Number one. Number two is, if you're playing that perhaps you could get moved, nobody is looking at your team and going, I need 6 of those guys. You're in 32nd or 30th or 28th place. There's nobody lining up at the door for the players. You become a little more selfish when you play like that, and that doesn't look good on you either. The best way to play is to look at each game as a singular story, and that story has to be the best that it can be for that night. And then you got to throw it away, flush it, because Vancouver, I think, lost 14 of 15. New York thought they were a Stanley Cup contender, and they're a long, long, long way from that. So it is demoralizing. I get it. But I would want to tell them that these days will go by and you'll regret them, because you'll know deep down, maybe other people won't, but deep down, you'll know I wasn't all the way in on that. And it's a tough way to go, but this is the lot you're dealt with. I mean, I guess you could not play, right? But this is what you dream of.
How difficult is a rebuild? Because people look at San Jose and go, "Oh, they're really good," but there's some dark times and empty buildings along lines.
I mean, that goes to ownership turning a blind eye too, right?
Yeah, you know what? Well, ownership is one thing. We'll get to there in a sec, but we remember the Sharks in 2015 and 2016 when they were going to the conference finals, and that building, man, you'd walk in there, walk out of there with a headache. It was so loud all the time. Fast forward a few years, the Thornton's gone, Marlowe's gone, Dan Boyle's gone, Hurdle's gone. The team is not the team anymore. If I needed to talk to you in the rink and you were on the other side, I could. Like there was nobody there. Yeah. Nobody there, right? So the owner had to say, yeah, I'm okay with this, because and we can all tell the owners what to do, but it's their money. They're losing millions of dollars a year when they rebuild because nobody is interested. Nobody is engaging in your team. Nobody's buying merchandise of players that are not going to be there. It's such a transient way to do business. And so the rebuild can only start when you get to the bottom. And I think what people forget in two of the most exciting teams is San Jose and Anaheim, is that was a long road down.
Cool.
And until you sell off the pieces that get you to that point, you're always going to not quite be rebuilding. And sometimes you're not going to be able to move all those contracts because you just can't. But until you get to the bottom, the climb can't start. And so let's look at it this way. I did the game last night. San Jose has seven top 15 picks in their lineup. Now they got Askarov in a trade from Nashville, but that it's Celebrini, it's Misa, it's Smith, Dickinson, Askarov, Eklund. I'm missing one other guy, and those picks don't happen in 1 year. So as you're making those picks, you're waiting for those players to grow up. Vancouver wins the lottery this year. An NHL ready player like Macklin Celebrini is not there. These players are really good players. We're talking about Verhoff and McKenna in particular, Stenberg. These guys those three guys are probably NHL set, but they're just boys. Macklin Celebrini came in like a force of nature. He was ready physically to play. And in my mind, the closest thing to Sidney Crosby we've seen since Sidney Crosby. I think the similarities are endless. He did an interview with Dan Murphy before the game yesterday, and Murph said, you got a road trip coming up, and or how are you preparing for that? Celebrini started talking about the Sharks road trip. Like his focus is so singular, and Murph goes, "No, I was talking about the one to Italy."
Yeah, Italy.
Yeah, and so the similarities between him and Crosby to me are just fascinating.
Let's take a break, and we'll come back more with Ray Ferraro, 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.
Car shopping should be exciting, not exhausting. That's where Car Gurus comes in. They have advanced search tools, unbiased deal ratings, and price history, so you know a great deal when you see one. It's no wonder that Car Gurus is the #1 rated car shopping app in Canada. When you're car shopping on your phone, it shouldn't be a maze. You need to see all the information. With the Car Gurus app, you can. Powerful search tools that you see deal ratings, price history, and dealer reviews on listings all in one place. And you can turn on real-time price drop alerts so you never miss a great deal. Car Gurus connects you with trusted dealerships when you're ready, ensuring a transparent, hassle-free buying process. Buy your next car today at cargurus.ca. Make sure your deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.ca. cargurus.ca.
So rebuild or retool, like what directs you in which path to take?
I'm frustrated with this, like rebuild, retool, rejig, refurnish, like stop it. Basically, nobody seems to be able to say, look, we're in a place we don't want to be. We're not good enough, and we're going to change our team. Because whatever you want to call it, that's what you're doing. The retool thing.
Like Boston, what Boston did.
Yes. Okay. I did not see Boston this year. I didn't see it. I didn't see them. Yeah. I didn't see them being as good. What they did, and I think, Don Sweeney is the manager, right? And Cam Neely's the president. They've worked together a long time. They target shopped a particular type of player that they felt they needed to be a competitive team. They became tougher, more physical, faster. Now, it doesn't hurt that you've got David Pastrnak, right? I think he's one of the great players.
David Pastrnak, Jeremy Swayman, Hampus Lindholm, Charlie McAvoy. That's a pretty good start.
It is, but without Pastrnak, you can't do it. He's so good. John, Morgan Geekie's a good scorer, and I think he will be for a long time. And when Geekie went into the rut, it was when they split him and Pastrnak up. They were looking for a little more balance on a team that struggles a bit at times to score goals. But they built a team that just plows straight ahead, line after line after line. But as they're retooling, you got to go back to the deadline last year, and I think this was the start of that retool, right? Who did they trade last year? They traded Carlo at the deadline. They traded Coyle. I had a list of them here somewhere. Oh, Marchand, Coyle, Carlo, Frederick, Brazo, all went at the deadline last year. So they get Fraser Minton. Oh, by the way, they've got, as long as Toronto doesn't finish fifth and worse, they've got Toronto's first round pick this year. Mm-hmm. If it's sixth or above, it's the Bruins pick. Mm-hmm. They went out and they drafted James Higgins at number 7 in the draft. They've, as I mentioned, they're bigger and faster. They went and got Janot. Maybe it's a little bit of an overpay, but they plugged the gap. They made a team better. They made them better. That's a retool that has gone well. John, you mentioned Swayman. Don't forget, huge, I think people. Oh man! And last year he comes out of camp. He holds out of camp, or he doesn't hold out of camp. He didn't have a contract. He's not signed. He comes to camp late. Those guys predictably have sluggish years. It's the first year of that long deal. This year, he looks like Jeremy Swayman again, right? And they've got legit goaltending. Korpisalo's 4-0-1 in his last 5. So they've done the retool thing, but they had enough pieces to do it. If you're the Rangers, do you have enough pieces to do it? And the answer is no. Because they're not fast enough, they're not skilled enough, and they've got such a heavy reliance on that top 6 that if they don't score, they're not getting anything else. And their defense is built in a way, they have Adam Fox and no other puck movers. But that's not the way the game works today.
What has happened to Adam Fox too, though? I mean, Adam Fox, everybody thought Adam Fox, a year ago would have been a natural for the Olympic team. Now he's not even on it, and his coach is the coach.
Yeah, I don't quite get that part. I will say I thought Fox had points notwithstanding, I thought he had a really tough year last year. He looked sluggish and slow. He fought a little bit of a knee problem, but he didn't he didn't look physically like he was able to play, like at his level. I said he looked slow, he looked sluggish with the puck. He didn't change the game. This year, he's been, I think, has been really good in amongst his injuries. And so now he's on LTI, and so I don't think he can come back. I don't think he can even come back till the start of the Olympic break. It's pretty close.
Close, yeah.
Without him, I did the game in Boston, and I always hesitate to put too much stock into one game, but they lost 10-2. And I was like, that defense cannot move the puck. Schneider had a really tough day. Gavrikov was their best guy by a mile, but they really, really have struggled there. And I didn't like even with Fox, I didn't like the composition of their D at the start of the year. And I think that's one thing they have to address. But are you going to address it? Not now, because you're going to trade Panarin. Zibanejad's not going to get faster. Miller's not going to get faster. Are they going to trade Trocheck? So it becomes, so now you get into semantics. Is this a rebuild or a retool? Well, if you're trading those guys, it's more like a rebuild.
Who won the Miller trade then?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Philip Heedle's back now. He's been for 3 games, and just hope that he can be healthy.
Just hope he's good, right?
Yeah, that he can be a player. Again, Mancini came back from the minors yesterday. I think there's something there, but he needs a string of games to put together to see if he can get his feet under him at the NHL level. There was a first-round pick that went to Pittsburgh in that deal.
Yep.
And that's
Pettersson.
That's Pettersson and O'Connor. I would say O'Connor and Philip Hronek. Well, Hronek is on an island by himself. He's been the best Canuck by leaps and bounds this year, not even close. But O'Connor is the one forward. Well, Linus Karlsson, but he's been the one forward that he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's got 12 goals. I think he's going to get 18, which is about the number for him. He's a good penalty killer. He skates hard. He's big. He should be on your 3rd or 4th line, and he's done his job. But there's been a whole lot of guys that in a year that went south right away, a lot of guys just have not had it.
Before we let you go, how many points can you be out of the playoffs now to think you still have a chance? 6, 5, 8?
It's funny. I was going to say 5 or 7 max, because chances are if you're 5 or 7, John, there's 3 or 4 teams in the mid range between you and that last spot. And we see all the time, 2 teams win, 1 team loses. Oh, you gain a point. Oh, no, you don't, because they win the next night and you don't. I cannot believe what Buffalo's done. It's been amazing. And those runs are not coming in the second half of the year. First of all, the games are going to be completely compacted in again. You start playing over and over your own conference and division, because all the interconference games are gone. And it just seems like you just spin your tires a lot. Some team will come from 3 or 5 points back, I think, to make it really interesting. But it's going to be like the, right around the wild card team. Somebody's going to be in one day, out the next day. But I don't see a team making a rush like Buffalo's done.
All right, 3 sports to watch in Italy, not named hockey, from Ray Ferraro.
I love the downhill.
Okay.
I think those people are absolute lunatics to go with the speed they go and the edges.
Steep.
I don't think TV doesn't do it right, does it?
No.
If you've seen it and you're like, and they're going to turn, right? So that's one for me. I like the biathlon. I think it's
never want to be in the lead.
just in case, just in case someone, there's a stray out there and you just don't want to do that. I think I would say the pairs figure skating, the precision of what they do is in the sport that I live and grow up in. Precision is a general figure. It's a general term. Yeah. So when I watch those guys and girls, like the way they land, and they've got to land it, but it's got to be in the right place so they can pick up the routine again. I think that stuff's great.
It's the only sport that I know where people are throwing people.
Yeah, and the next time Ray joins us, he's going to explain the difference between pairs figure skating and ice dancing.
Oh, the ice dancing I don't get. I don't get that one. I like the pairs.
Sal Cal Ray. Thanks for joining us.
I do think they should get Snoop on there for more analysis. We've all seen that meme of him and Kevin Hart doing the equestrian, and we need more of that. That's really great.
You're the best. Thanks for taking the time for us, as always, buddy.
Take care, guys. Great to see you.
With the NHL app, you can listen to every NHL game right from your phone. And with home and away broadcast feeds, you choose your way to listen.
And he scores!
Whether you're at work, at the gym, or stuck in traffic, the NHL app puts you right in the action all season long. Every team, every game, everywhere you go. Download the NHL app and never miss a moment.
Another podcast down, and Millard has disappeared. It's amazing how that happens when the stories start to flow and we start talking about Olympics and rebuilds, retools, reconstructs, whatever you want to talk about it, and Daren Millard just disappears. Well, it's just the life in the world of 100% hockey. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send us a like, give us a thumbs up, or all of the different podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, which is my favorite one today, and Amazon Music. On Friday on the show, Millard will be back. I will be here, and so will the general manager of the Dallas Stars, Jim Nill, who's part of Canada's Olympic management team. Maybe we can get some inside stories of what's going on with the hockey club as we wait for, if needed, any replacements to be named before the Olympics and the departure of the team on February the 6th. So for Gyprock Millard, I'm John Shannon. Thanks for listening and watching this edition of 100% Hockey.